Hello, dear seekers. This is Carrie. Thank you again for having me, and thank you for sharing your space with me. The emotion of today is I choose happy. What is happiness? What is being joyful? I want you to think of two things happy as a concept, but happy also as a lifestyle. Most of us, just because we are human beings, we need things that are tangible, things that we can experience through our five senses to register in here or in here that we feel happy. Right now, we are once again, all of us, going through such a challenging time. It is hard to say, I feel happy. And maybe it's not happy. Maybe it could be, I feel content. I am content. That's definitely a big step. But today, I dare you to say, I feel happy. I can choose to be happy. And the way we want to go through that, first, I am going to share my poem, a poem that I was writing a while back, and I wanted to convey the emotion of happy. So please allow me to read this poem to you guys. The title of my poem is Joyful Reunion. I thought about you, my beloved. I reminisced about the first time we broke bread together. I am experiencing all over again when we both had a seat at the table. You have been my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, and my child. You have made me whole again. You have been by my side one karmic life after another one. Beloved, once again you're here with me, our souls reuniting for a common purpose. I am breaking bread with you. Past lives meet present lives. Alchemists, masters of our souls. Reunited today, losing each other tomorrow. All we have left is this lifetime. Thank you. I hope this poem, once you hear it, you can digest it a little bit and think about the emotions that it brings inside of you. And when we are thinking of happy or choosing happiness, I want you again to find ways to unpack. I'm going to use our board once again, and I'm going to give you or ask you a few questions. I don't know if you remember what we usually talk when we address our emotions. I've always stated that we have to pay attention to our narrative. And we say the narrative is the story. It is the script that we are playing inside of our head. So I'm asking you, what is your narrative? And then when you think about happy, I want you to take it one day at a time, especially right now. We can't just plan all the beautiful things that we love to do. I know personally what makes me happy is when I travel. I go all over the place, all over the world. That makes me happy. I know when I dance, it makes me happy. I know when I spend time with my family, it makes me happy, or with my friend. But right now, at this moment, we can't do all of these things or behaviors that we used to do. That's when we really have to be committed to choosing happiness. So think about this. Tell me, what is your narrative? And the second one that I want you to think about, it is your language. What is your language? And I want you to think about your internal language. Do you have a language of love? Do you have a language of affirming who you are or affirming your loved one? Or do you have a language that disempowers you, a language that blame you or blame yourself? Do you have a language that creates doubt? I want you to ask yourself not only what is my narrative, but what is my language? And when you think of your language, I want you to think about this word, the language of poverty, and I like to call it poverty consciousness. Okay? Poverty consciousness, or a language of poverty. What does that mean? It means that not just you have a narrative that disempowers you, but on every awakened moment, sometimes you have a language that creates poverty. And when you think about poverty, it means that we have a lack. And we all are feeling a lack of safety, a lack of security. Some of us are dealing with a lack of health, a lack of love and attention and comfort from our loved one and our families. So it is real, we're feeling this lack. How are you addressing that language of lack, of love, of happiness? So I want you to think about the number 21. What is 21? I want you to think about 21 days. Research has shown that it actually takes 21 days to break a behavior or to create a new one. So let's just use an example. Maybe you have a hard time doing anything in the morning. You feel drowsy, you feel lazy, you don't feel good. I'm gonna ask you for 21 days. Just decide, you know what, understand, you don't have to do anything. Maybe you don't feel like doing anything. I want you to make your bed every day for 21 days. After 21 days, guess what? You are going to make your bed without even thinking of it. It's going to be a second nature. So let's go back to us choosing choosing happiness. Remember, I want you to think of it as a lifestyle, not just as a concept or a big thought. Because again, most of us will not achieve it, especially during such a challenging time. There are spiritual beings who can really get in touch and transcend and go beyond what's happening. Most of us are just mere human. It means that we have to feel, we have to smell, we have to touch, we have to feel our five senses and connect to them in order to feel some emotions. So let's do an exercise together that I want you to take it as a homework. Okay? With our number, we're gonna choose 21 days. And I read a book a while back It's the book that's addressing the psychology of happiness. It really stated that you have to create a lifestyle of happiness. Okay? So let's start to create our lifestyle of happiness. I say the magic number is 20 days, and we're going to create a lifestyle of happiness. It means that we are choosing, and we are very conscious of choosing happiness. Okay? So I want you to think about happy on a daily basis. I want you every day, when you wake up, to find 3 things that are positive in your life. 3 things every morning when you wake up. Write it down in your journal. The second step, I want you to pick one of that positive experience or behavior, emotion, whatever that is. Pick one thing that you can talk about for at least 5 minutes. You can write about it 5 minutes in your journal. And if you feel courageous enough, you can call a friend or family one and discuss with them that one thing. I want you to create the third step. I want you to create a space where you can encourage yourself to be present. It could be through meditation. It could be breathing. Breath work is very important. It could be maybe writing. That's how you feel. You feel happy, you create that space. It could be dancing, right? It could be prayer. It could be anything you can think of. It could be painting. It could be gardening. Anything that you can create as an action to center you, to provide that communion, not just with you, but with the universe. Or maybe it's not the universe, maybe it's what you call your God. Whatever your belief is, I want you to create a spiritual foundation that can help you go through your day. And then the fourth one, I want you to think about an act of kindness. Usually we want to be happy to feel happy. But in reality, when we only focus on ourselves, it's fine, it's nice, and you shouldn't feel bad. It's very important sometimes to be self-full. I don't call it selfish, I call it self-full. You should always take care of yourself. But in the space of needing and wanting to be happy, you're gonna have to learn that sometimes happiness comes from helping someone else. And that's what we call an act of kindness. And don't think an act of kindness demands something to do that is grandiose, above your means. Maybe you can just send a text to your best friend and tell him or tell her how nice they are. You can tell the perfect stranger that they are beautiful today. You can call your parents. You can tell them you love them. You can do anything that has nothing to do with you, but it's just giving to someone else without expecting anything in return. Okay? And the last step, I want you to exercise. I know a lot of us, because of social distancing, but also depending where we are, we cannot go outside. If you can go outside, make sure you have your mask and do what you have to do. Go in the park, in the forest, go take a walk. And some of us, we may be stuck inside of our houses and apartments. I want you to do something. just work out in your house. Those are the 5 steps that I'm giving you as a homework so that you can create a lifestyle of happiness. Of course, before I let you go, I always want you to listen to an excerpt from my favorite book, the Book of Awakening. Today is April 1st, and the author is saying, what the worm eats feeds the roots. Let me repeat that. What the worm eats feeds the roots. And I love this. It's very short, but what it reminds me is actually the cycle of life. Look how we have all been so disrespectful to Mother Nature. From the worm to the lion, to the human being, to the plants, we have to treat each other with kindness. And we have not been doing such a good job. But once you do that, right, like the author say, will the worm eat, feed the roots? It shows that we all have a role to play in each other's life. I am, you are my brother and my sister keeper. Don't forget, your life is always beyond yourself. That can create a sense of happiness and even contentment. So the author always gives you 3 questions to think about, and I want you to write it down. He wants you to center yourself and once again, let the stream of your feelings move through. The second activity I want you to do is, after a time, give the right voice to the particular feelings as they arise. Be careful this time to voice your feelings as yours. For example, I feel sad, I feel cold, I feel light, I feel weary. Not just to think it, but to also voice it. It's very important to unpack. And the last one, he says, during your day, try to be mindful of how the pulse of what feels will shift. I'm going to repeat that. During your day, try to be mindful of how the pulse of what feels will shift. So he's asking you, think about today, anytime, what is real to you? And sometimes how your will shifts or changes. So pay attention to that. And the last one is try to keep turning toward it. I suppose he's encouraging us to try to go back and to talk about our emotions. Okay? So remember today, we talk not just about the narrative in your mind, but pay attention to the language that you use inside of your mind, your internal language. Turn it from a language of poverty to a language of wealth. Then I want you to think about 21 days. We had steps, we created 5 steps for a lifestyle of happiness. Okay? And we say to write down 3 things that you think are positive or you feel grateful about, and then pick 1 thing. You can journal it for at least 5 minutes. Find anything, any behavior, any spiritual work that can help you to center your foundation. We said it could be prayer, meditation, it could be reading, it could be research, astrology, anything you can think of. And then we say, don't forget to exercise. And don't forget to show other people through act of kindness. And the act of kindness can be anything. Sometimes you've heard of the saying, it's the thought that matters. And sometimes we can actually do something that is tangible. But sometimes it could be just a thought, thinking about someone we love and sending them our good intentions. Dear seeker, please make sure you take care of yourself. I want you to leave you with a big thank you. Thank you for all these 28 subscribers. I did not do this for all the likes or all the sharing, but I am always asking for that. But I thank you because you are taking the time to not just share all my video, but to listen to me. So make sure you take care of yourself, of your loved one, your families, and your community. And with my love of planets, with my love of astronomy and astrology, I'm going to leave you with the planet Moon. If you think of the moon waxes and wanes. There's a lot of ebbs and flows. That's where we're going right now. We are all going through this. Our emotions are just like a wave. When it happens, it's okay. Just acknowledge the wave. And today I'm encouraging you to pick happiness in one of those waves. We're going to practice a little bit of breathing before I let you go, to be grateful that we all are here. I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath in through the nose. We're going to do this 3 times. Okay? You can do the belly breathing, or you can do the upper breath or shallow breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Thank you so much.